Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's dive into this. We're looking at existentialism today, specifically the courage to create yourself. Now, I know you're probably already familiar with the broad strokes here, so we aren't going to waste time on the basics. Instead, we're going to unpack the actual mechanics of how this philosophy demands we build our identity, literally from the ground up, entirely from scratch.
So picture this. Imagine waking up one morning and suddenly realizing no one can actually tell you who you are or what your purpose is supposed to be. Like, there's absolutely no tradition to lean back on for comfort, right? No society dictating your quote-unquote proper path and zero authority guiding your hand. It's just you. All those familiar safety nets we're so used to, gone. Just poof, leaving you completely alone with your own raw potential. And in that vast, empty space, without those comforting structures telling us what to do, we're basically forced to confront the absolute deepest questions of human existence. Questions like, who am I? Why am I here? What actually gives my life meaning? You know, existentialism isn't just some abstract theory for philosophers to casually debate in a classroom. It's an urgent, practically screaming call to answer these exact questions for yourself, using literally nothing but your own internal compass.
Which brings us to Section 1. A world without authority.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it contrasts with almost all of human history. For centuries, we've heavily relied on systems that search for universal answers and some sort of predetermined purpose. You know, that super comforting idea that your life's meaning is already out there, just waiting for you to stumble upon it. Well, existentialism completely rejects that whole framework. There's no predetermined destiny. Meaning isn't some hidden treasure you just wander around trying to find. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a blank canvas. Meaning is something you have to actively generate yourself through your own individual choices.
Moving right along to Section 2, existence precedes essence.
Existence precedes essence. Now, I'm sure you already know this famous mantra, but let's really think about its mechanical implications for a second. It basically says we are not born with a fixed identity or a destiny or some inescapable core human nature. First, we just simply show up. We exist. Then and only then do we define who we are, and we do it entirely through our actions. Like I said earlier, we are quite literally a blank canvas, but in this case, we're the ones holding the paintbrush. So ultimately, existentialism is a call to confront human existence head-on. It's a philosophy where personal commitment and individual choice completely shape who we become. I mean, really think about that deeply. It means every single choice you make, no matter how tiny it seems, and every single responsibility you step up to accept acts as a literal building block. Brick by brick, decision by decision, you're actively constructing your ultimate identity right now, in the present moment. Which leads us to a tougher concept in Section 3, the price of freedom. Freedom is a real double-edged sword, isn't it? It's empowering, for sure, but it's also deeply frightening. So the crucial point is that with this unbounded freedom inherently comes an absolute and honestly pretty terrifying level of responsibility. Because think about it, if you are entirely free to choose your path, well then you are entirely on the hook for exactly where that path leads. You can't just enjoy all that boundless freedom without bearing the full heavy weight of the consequences that follow. It's a package deal. And because it's a package deal, this philosophy basically violently strips away all our favorite, most familiar excuses. Look at this list of what we cannot blame. Fate, society, circumstances. Nope, none of them. The stars aren't magically aligned against you, society didn't make you do it, and your circumstances absolutely do not dictate your ultimate reaction to them. We are 100% accountable for our own path. Realizing that you, and literally only you, are the one steering the ship, man, that is a massively heavy, sobering realization. But it's not all doom and gloom, which brings us to Section 4, the courage to create. Because despite all those heavy demands, this philosophy is actually incredibly optimistic at its core. And this brilliantly illustrates why, once you finally accept the burden of total freedom, you unlock this amazing power to create your own meaning, pursue your own purpose, and live completely authentically. Like, yes, we live in a world filled with wild uncertainty, and sure, ultimate freedom is super daunting, but every single person possesses the undeniable ability to look at that blank canvas we talked about and paint something deeply meaningful. It demands profound courage, absolutely, but it rewards you with a truly authentic life. The greatest project we will ever undertake is the creation of ourselves. I mean, that is just the core of the whole shebang right there. Existentialism demands that we have the bravery to look uncertainty directly in the eye, embrace that terrifying freedom, and just take total responsibility for creating a meaningful life. You aren't out there finding yourself in the wild. You are building yourself from the ground up.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, pretty heavy question to chew on. If your greatest project is the creation of yourself, who will you become? You've got the tools. You've got the boundless freedom. The very next choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this journey today, and I genuinely encourage you to carry that question with you as you navigate the blank canvas of your own life.